Good evening. Thank you very much for the invitation. I really enjoy this evening already. And yes, how do I make the link between my profession and the theme of this event? In fact, I have chosen the title "Can't Wait for It," subtitle "What a Difference the Time Makes." And I brought a little bit of a surprise with me, my little treasure box. And I will talk more about that in a few minutes. So far, I put it here. That's why I needed the chair. Otherwise, we tried it, that I put it there, but it was not so comfortable. Yeah, so I would like to zoom in into the theme and opening this treasure box by talking first about a topic which I believe everybody in this room can resonate with, waiting time. So I can tell you, it makes me crazy, and I can't find anything positive about waiting time. I thought a lot about that. I can't find anything about it. And now, due to my profession, especially when we talk about waiting time in a medical setting, which we could speak about cervical cancer, we could talk about hospital-acquired infections. But at the end of the day, I thought I'll talk to you today about what I'm on in the moment. And it's about clinical diagnostics. And the theme is that the waiting time for results of clinical diagnostics have the negative effect on the quality of your life and the length of your life. So I assume, as you are all sitting here tonight, that you are in good health, but you all know as well that tomorrow that might change. And I would like to give you an example to better understand what I'm talking about. And I have chosen the topic of fever. And I'm very passionate about that as well, because I was as well affected by it as a mother of 2 children. And when they were tiny kids, I assume that many of you can be with me on, you wake up in the morning and you have a kid which is not good at all and has high fever. So coming back to the theme of quality of life, not good for the kid, but as well not good for me as a mother. Probably cannot go to work, don't feel comfortable that my child doesn't feel well. So at the end, what do? After a while, decide the fever is at 40 degrees, I have to see the doctor. What is happening in a general practitioner, even if you decide you go during the weekend, maybe in an emergency room of a hospital, what is happening in this situation? The physician is doing a physical exam, and with a child with high fever, the likelihood that this is an infection is very high. So good practice is that the physician is proposing to draw blood, which is already not so much fun, especially not with a child. And what they tell you is, let's wait for the blood test results. Go home and call tomorrow, and then we will see what we do and how we treat the child. And by the way, I do not criticize this, not at all. That is good practice. If there is no life-threatening situation, it's good practice to wait for those test results. But at the end of the day, I don't feel good about it. I thought you might be interested to know what is happening with the blood. And I took the example here from Belgium, and there are a few other countries in the world where this is happening exactly the same. So the blood was drawn. Somebody comes into the office of your doctor and picks it up, brings it to a central laboratory, and as soon as the blood arrives in that laboratory, it is put into a big rack, as you can see, with many, many other tests. The information about the patient are tracked into an information system, and I think in the meantime, very good measures are taken place that the blood and the name of your kid are really well connected so that there is no wrong result coming because the sample was intermixed. In fact, that happened in the past years. When I started my career, that happened. This is very, very safe now these days, and the efficiency of these laboratories is tremendous. And therefore, I have chosen as well to show you how an analyzer and how big laboratories look like these days. So the analyzer where your the blood of our child in this case is landing on, could be one example of these. This instrument has the size of everything here around me, from the chair to the screen, so high. And as you can see in the picture below, there are laboratories in the world which are so large they look like fabrics. This is, if I'm not wrong, one of the biggest laboratories in the world in Brazil, where thousands and thousands of tests per day are done. And when you centralize these tests, this is really great. And I spent most of my time on that, to have the efficiency within the laboratory, to bring the time down, time per test down, to minutes even. But the issue is still that you have to transport the specimen. And as larger the labs are, the distance to the patient is becoming even larger. So this is still the problem we have. And this is what made me as well very passionate to think about, okay, we worked it out. The laboratory is super efficient. How can we ensure that people like our physician in our child situation can have the results within minutes? Now, as I said before, I'm now back with my child at home while the blood of our child is in the lab, everything is doing well. We are sitting at home and I don't feel good at all because this is an image of a virus, but it could be as well bacteria which are now in the body of my kid and not doing well. So at the end of the day, due to the fact that we have to wait, very unlikely that the child will feel better. So the evening, and especially the night, at least I had that experience, very bad. Quality of life. And unfortunately, in very rare cases, but it happens, unfortunately, there is as well a risk that the kid could die during the night. There are bacteria, they act very fast. And it's not always that you can predict that this organism is in your child. So therefore, this implication as a microbiologist, you can imagine that I have not spent any minute to sleep during those nights. So, coming to the solution. And during the introduction, you heard already that since February, I'm living here in Leuven, working here in Belgium. And this is because I met great people, and they suggested that they have great solutions at their hands. And I wanted to give you credit to a few of them, and they only represent a minimum amount of people. There are so many more which should be here on this page. On the top left, you see Luc van den Hove, CEO of IMEC, and to the right, Peter Peumans, VP Life Science, as well at IMEC. For the ones who don't know IMEC, you can be really proud on that. It is a world-recognized research organization in the area of semiconductor nanoelectronics. The world visits Leuven because of IMEC. And these gentlemen had the idea to leverage this technology, which you have here today with you in your mobile phones, in the laptops, in your washing machine, the self-driving cars, all of that is in the future coming. And Bob Bollinger is the professor at the University of Johns Hopkins in Baltimore, and he's at the medical school. So the gentleman from Leuven realized very soon, if we want to work with this great idea, we cannot work without medical knowledge. So they brought these ideas together, these skills and capabilities together, and have developed a very, very powerful concept. This concept convinced gentlemen from Belgium, Marc Kucke, Michel Ackermans, and Roald Boré, on the bottom line, to invest enough money to create a company which I'm leading since February. And the idea is now to bring the research work to the market. And everything is based on nanotechnology. It's tiny, tiny volumes and measures. And probably it's now time to open my little treasure box. And so what you can see here is the heart of all. You may remember the machine I showed you before. That machine can process thousands of samples. This can process one sample, but it's not such a machine. So you can do it anywhere, at any time, where you need it. So that makes here the big difference. And it's not about eliminating these big laboratory machines, not at all. They are very important. You don't need always fast results. But for the example which we just talked about, that chip will make a difference. It will be embedded in plastic. There will be as well some stuff around it. But this will be the heart of it. And for the people who can't see that, because I'm too far away from you, I brought as well here a picture of an example which looks a little bit different. We are working on several chips. And so this will make the big difference because it can be done at the site. It enables the results at the point of need. While the child and yourself sitting in front of the physician, the test is running, automatically you don't need to be trained. And the result appears on the laptop, on the mobile phone, wherever you want. And what happens, the physician can do with the real-time blood results a very informed health decision. So knowing most likely, because of the results of this test, my child has a bacterial infection or a viral infection, and the treatment is very different. And that will be then extremely effective. I feel better. I trust much more that the treatment is right. And hopefully, and that is very likely, the child will feel very soon much better. And therefore, I hope that I was able to convince you why I've chosen this title, that I can't wait for it, to have it on market. It takes a few more years, but I'm so excited that I have the chance to be part of this team. Thank you very much.